What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, with the last pick for the Indianapolis Colts. It's pick 236 in round 7. The Indianapolis Colts select Jake Witt, offensive tackle from Northern Michigan. So apparently Jake Witt, former tight end, converted to tackle, which, I mean, again, if you think about it recently, Cody, I mean, how many guys in the last 3 years Indianapolis has drafted who have been former tight ends who transitioned to be playing tackles. So it's pretty amazing considering. But again, a guy that is extremely athletic in Jake Witt with a 9.8 RAS score, a height of 6'7", 302 pounds. At the end of the day, that weight is a little bit concerning. You know, being 6'7" is one of those things, but the height is definitely something to work with. And had a elite explosion grade of a 37-inch vertical and over a 10-foot broad jump. And elite speed, had a 4.8 40-yard dash, did really good on his splits, and had great numbers on his shuttle and his three cones. So this is a guy that's definitely a very athletic mover, and I would expect that moving from tight end to tackle. What do you make of Indy getting Jake Witt here?
Yeah, you talk about it. They just bet on the athleticism of Jake Witt, former tight end, converted tight end. And, he is actually from 1987 to 2023, he's ranked the 27th best RAS score since that time. And so a very, very athletic guy he talked about. He's elite in about every category. And the interesting thing here, Derek, is the only thing he ranks out as a negative grade, talk about his weight. But that is a great thing because he can add to that frame. There is no question he can add to that frame. 6'7", he can add to that frame. And also bench press is the only thing that's good, and he can even add strength to himself as well. So both the things for Jake Witt are very fixable for him, but you can't teach athleticism. And with Jake Witt, I mean, the same thing like the Colts had of the other guy they took in the earlier on day 3. They just got two really big frames, like height-wise, and they feel like both these guys can bulk up a little bit, can get a little bit bigger, can become, that 315-ish, put on 10 to 15 pounds, something like that, and really develop and grow into that frame, get a little bit stronger, do those things. I really do feel like they can. And so I love it, man. I love it where you get a guy where he has elite traits across the board, except for a few things that can be developed into good and elite traits. So, yeah, guys, I really love this one. I really think it's a good one here, the Jake Witt pick. I'm glad the Colts, are adding more tackle depth. Now the Colts have two guys that can play some tackle for them. Now Witt's obviously going to be kind of that fourth tackle, could be kind of a practice squad guy, could develop a little bit, but you bet on the athleticism, you bet on the traits, 9.80 RAS score. That is phenomenal here. And I think it's a great, great chance for the Colts to potentially get a steal here in round 7. I mean, they've betted on athletic traits before. Yeah. We'll see what, they can get out of this guy now with this whole new offense, and this new offensive line coach and all that stuff, And obviously Steichen's talked about him, right? He talked about how he really, really loves Tony Sperano Jr., the new offensive line coach. And I'm just excited what he can get out of these guys. You just give him some projects, get him some molds, and let him develop those guys.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, that's really what it is. It's all about Ballard understanding, what guys are going to try to work with the new coaching staff. And if you got guys that are projects, guys that are young and all these things, at least have the guys have intangibles and athletics that you can work with. Try to make it work. And especially nowadays, it's not about, especially in the new offenses that we're in nowadays, Cody, it is not enough for just an offensive lineman to just be strong. It is nowadays about being able to move. It's not, nobody's in, just in the pocket anymore. Like you're doing screens, you're doing kickouts, you're doing all of these things out of the backfield and off to the side of the field nowadays. Your tackles need to be able to move. And when you have athletic guys that can not only move from side to side, but get to the second level quickly and be able to make blocks down the field, that is so important for how an offense wants to attack the outside.
Absolutely, right. And the great thing with a guy like Jake Witt is he has plenty of time to develop. There's no pressure for him to do anything right away. He can grow to that frame. He can get himself right. And who knows, man, maybe we look in a couple of years and we say, man, it's worth the pick, But, and again, it's a 7th-round pick, so you never know. I'm always a proponent of drafting, at this point. I know Ballard is as well. Draft the traits, develop the player.
Yeah,
that's what they've done with different guys, right? That's what they did. We talked about EJ Speed earlier. That's what they did with EJ Speed. That's what they did with Isaiah Rodgers. That's what they did with all these different guys. They bet on the traits. A guy 7th-round pick a year ago, Rodney Thomas, they bet on the traits. He was a super athletic guy. He turned into one of their best players last year on the defensive side of things. So overall, I am never going to be mad if the Colts taking a chance here at a position that we feel like they needed to get better at. They did. They double-dipped. And they got Jake Witt here, the second offensive tackle they took in this draft. Let us know, guys, your thoughts on this pick and all the other picks for the Colts. We're going to be having a lot more content coming out, so be sure to check that out. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Colts.